And so, Dawn, excited to hear about your path. Like, where'd you come from? Like, what happened, and how'd you get out of whatever religious situation you were in?
So sorry, I keep trying to cut the glare on my shiny glasses.
You're good. You're good.
So born and raised in Washington State, Mormon by trade, by birth. So much so that my family helped settle Utah with the one and only Brigham Young.
Your family heritage helped settle Brigham Young's family in Utah?
No, like settled Utah with the Mormons when they were
like
cast out of Missouri. I can trace my lineage.
So you're like the Utah chapter.
Oh yeah, we're OG Mormons. So there's this fun app called Family Search. It's actually owned by the Mormon Church, the LDS, as they like to be called now. And I, through my family tree, which, that the LDS Church owns the largest genealogy library in the world.
I did not know that. That's interesting.
Yes. So they have the largest genealogy library anywhere. And so based on my family tree, you can trace my family back to Brigham Young and Joseph Smith. So,
wow. That's wild.
OG Mormons, Josh. OG.
Wow, that is wild.
I have a relative in my family tree who wrote Master, the Tempest is Raging. I don't know if you know that hymn, but also a common hymn they sing in the Mormon Church. Sounds epic. We're tight. We're in there.
So when did you start to question? So I assume being brought up in this situation, you were obviously you believed it.
Went to church most Sundays. Obviously, it was a little weird for me because my grandfather met my grandmother. She was 15, raised devout Mormon. My grandfather was here from Missouri, actually. He met her in Texas, married. He was 21, she was 15. Again, times were different. And he actually converted.
Wait, you said she was 15?
Yeah.
Well, she was Mormon. Okay. Continue.
Yeah. She was an old maid by that point, basically. Hey, we could have been Hiltons. Okay. Her sister turned down the dude who married Elizabeth Taylor, Conrad Hilton, because he was an asshole.
Whoa. Wow.
I could have been rich, guys. My life.
Wow. That's awesome, though.
I'm waiting for the point to tell us that that's actually your life and that you've just been wanting to make sure we're your friend before you
let us know that.
I know. I'm waiting for that richer report. Hey, guys,
real friends. What? Yeah, real friends.
I'm just waiting for me to be able to say it. But anyways, he actually, my grandfather was the one who converted for my grandmother.
Oh,
he joined the Mormon Church.
Mm-hmm. Okay,
he's from Missouri, where they were. Actually, I have one of my aunts was I don't remember if she was a pastor or something later in life. So definitely not Mormons, because when he took my grandmother back to meet his family, his sister reminded her they still shot Mormons back there.
Whoa.
In Missouri. Yeah. So.
Whoa, that's wild. Yep. That's wild.
Well, because there was not a crusade. Don't want to use that term.
You learned a campaign. By the way. Thanks to our other caller, we learned the Crusades were just peachy.
Yeah.
But go ahead.
Yeah, because the Egyptians were definitely Christians.
Super
prior to the Crusade.
Yeah. Anyways,
not that. Yeah. Pantheon of gods, but whatever. I was sitting here like the little girl from Little Rascals with her Pepsi can she's crushing. Oh, check Adele's text. But yeah, so his sister reminded my grandmother that they still shot Mormons back there the first time she went to meet the family.
Wild.
So anyways, raised really in there. But my mom was a divorced woman with 2 kids.
So this topic keeps coming up. Every time there's a divorced woman, I have a problem.
Well, yeah, because the funny thing is the men aren't held accountable.
No, it's only the woman's fault if there's a
Just the
divorce.
woman, the one who stays to raise the children, not the one who leaves.
Shame on her.
They
for
kind of get off
staying and
scot-free
raising the children.
regardless. Yeah, the guys get off scot-free regardless of how the situation ended. You know, mom's home putting him through college with 2 kids while he's cheating. But, you know, he's fine.
Wow.
So, went to church on Sundays, sporadically, occasionally, because, you know, we were gone every other Sunday. And then went to like the youth things on Wednesdays. Went to girls' camp in the summer a couple years. Was baptized like clockwork when I was 8 by my grandfather. So I mean,
were the camps like legit or were they sketch?
Yeah. So no, they were legit. We went, you know, it was a group of like, you were separated by age. It was all girls except for grandma and grandpa. They kind of camped there and, you know, they just kind of, you popped by and say hi to grandma and grandpa. And they, you know, they were great. Loved them. Not my grandma and grandpa, just they were the camp's grandma and grandpa.
Yeah.
And we rode horses. Yeah. And we rode horses and we legit camped in open side A-frames and everybody set up their, you know, sleeping bags and whatnot. And there were just moms, like 2 moms on each side. And we cooked at our campfires and sat around.
So it was it sounds like an actually fairly positive experience, honestly.
There, but yeah, off and on.
Yeah.
So when was it not and how did it change?
So as a kid of a single mom, there were many kids there who did not treat me nicely because I didn't have 2 parents and a white picket fence. And so, you know, there were a lot of kids who judged.
Yeah,
there was a lot of kids. Yeah. Even though she was totally married 14 years before they divorced and 10 before they had me, but whatevs. They just, you know, every religion, you know, there's those kids who are just, you're not like us, regardless of everything else. You're not like us.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
being different is often, no matter what the scenario is, it's often
you know, it's not follow the Christian teachings of Jesus Christ, or, you know, because the Mormons still believe Jesus, you know, but they follow the golden plates in the Book of Mormon, which
the golden plates. I need more into that, but
yeah, I'll let you borrow my book again.
I didn't get to check it out.
I know I stole it when I realized Josh was getting funny with his permanent marker. Actually, I stole it before that, but yeah, mine doesn't say that on the front. Okay.
It doesn't.
I would never do
that. I have the 3-parter. Remember, I have the 3-parter.
That's a family book.
Yes.
I wouldn't do that. Yeah. But
see, yeah. So I was baptized with a traditional Mormon thing, but my grandpa wrote in it. That's why you can't play with that one.
Yeah, that's cool. That's super cool.
And it's a 3-packer. That's why I let Josh borrow it.
Yeah, that's
awesome. It has all 3 parts. But yeah, so there were just kids who were kind of not nice people. And then also, like, as I got older, I had friends outside of the church, and that was also kind of, I mean, it was cool with people depending, but I, you know, as a kid, a single mom, and my mom worked full time. So I had friends who, you know, did things sometimes that the church looked very poorly upon. And just because I was seen with them, regardless of anything else, somebody saw me walking them, with them at one point.
So you are now a sinner.
Yep. Yeah. Doesn't matter if I was simply doing anything, you know, reading the Book of Mormon to them for all they know. I got called into the bishop's office. So you have bishops, who is like the head of your local building, your ward. So you have ward, stake, and then it's been a while. Ward, stake, and then there's above that, and then you have it gets bigger from there.
Hierarchy. You got to have that hierarchy.
Yeah.
So bishop,
like, it's giving me a lot of flashbacks.
Yeah, exactly. It's very similar to Catholic, you know.
You're hanging out with us. What would Jesus do? Oh, wait.
Okay, I gotta see this chat here.
That reminds me, I saw a little thing the other day and I forgot to send it to you, Adele. I just tried to grab my phone to look for it. It said, look, it was a little locket. Yeah, sorry, side tangent. You know me well. So I got called into the bishop's office and ended up with a full lecture about the fact that one, I drink tea, like at
That's
night,
off the limits. Tea?
Why is tea a sin?
anything that is a mind-altering substance. So caffeine, that is where the tea, soda, alcohol, any kind of drugs, all of that comes in.
Oh, that.
And to reference your women without being able to make their own decisions and whatnot, it reminded me, I had a friend who, his mother-in-law was not allowed to take her mental health meds because it killed her sex drive and her husband didn't like it.
Oh.
Very Andrea Yates. So, yeah, so I got called in by the bishop. I got a full lecture on all the things that made me a bad person.
So are
12.
there repercussions, or is it just a lecture and then I like go forth, do better?
No, it was a lecture,
Okay.
pretty much. Again, I was 12. I mean, you can be
Oh Lord.
excommunicated in a sense. I've begged. It doesn't happen, sadly. And then, of course, I ended up as a 26-year-old having I got pregnant at 25 as a college person, and had my daughter on my own at 26. And while I was still pregnant, I had an elder in the church who I bumped in at my mom's pulmonologist's office as I was going to a doctor's appointment with her, asked me if I had picked out a family yet for my child.
To give your child to?
Yeah, because the Mormons, the LDS Church has its own adoption agency, and I was an unwed 26-year-old.
So they were going to take your child.
They were going to take, but they expected me
to
expected you to
give my child up for adoption.
Of like Mormon parents.
In this situation, are you able to like still like
I looked at him directly and said, I'm a 26-year-old college educated woman. I'm not picking shit.
Yeah.
I had the feeling
I have no need
really started
for a family of my daughter. No, it started before that because I was basically out. I don't know why he was asking me anything. I was not an active member in the church. The elders came to visit my mom occasionally, but it wasn't like we were active members. And
what caused your tipping point where you decided like, actually, I'm kind of out? Like what, like, because obviously,
I mean, I had pretty much been out. But I just would be there when they come to visit my mother. Yeah. Just because of all the treatment over the years. I had another friend who got pregnant when we were teenagers, and her baby, her parents were so, very religious that she didn't have a choice about giving up her child. And it was very much where you don't have a choice here. The baby is being given up. And it was a very traumatic experience. That's when I found out they had their own adoption agency.
That's just,
and she was, I think it was right before she turned 18 or just turned 18. And I mean, it was traumatic for her. Oh. And I think and so that, it all kind of went downhill before then because I am not
all babies should be born unless you're an unwed mother.
Well, no. You still have to have it, but you don't get to keep it.
Oh, that is wild. Yeah. That is wild. So then how did you get, so then you were just like, I'm taking my child and I'm like.
You were already out and you were kind of just like gradually getting out because you said people weren't nice.
I stopped. I was like, as a teenager, I was like, I don't need to be here. I have nothing to do with this. My grandpa understood I am not. I've always considered myself from a certain point, probably in my mid-teens, as more of a spiritual, not religious. If I have to put a name on anything, I wouldn't even say, I don't know if atheist would be the word. I'm like, I would rather follow the earth.
Yeah.
So you still,
sense of
I feel what I feel. I don't feel a need to put a name on anything. If you want to talk about praying or whatever, speaking to what's out there, I don't feel I need to be a certain place. I don't got to do it in a certain way. I don't have to do it at a certain time or date, and I don't have to have any. And so,
which, by the way, this is a good segue. If any Christians are listening or Mormons, since we have someone that knows Mormonism.
All religion. There you go.
If you want to call in and tell us why we're wrong, this is normally a space where we can kind of debate and learn why we should not have left the faith. But today we've got some friendlies on and we're learning the story. So you took the baby and ran, essentially.
Well, she was mine to begin with. Nobody got to take her from me and run. I mean, it was just, I left before that. I, was like, sorry, dude. No. I mean, you're pretty old. So I give him that little bit of grace. He was like 80 almost when he asked me this. And I'm like, dude, it's 2008. No, it's not even like 99, like my friend, speaking of the child, it's walking in. But, it was one of those cases where I was just like, no, I'm good. And there were other members. Oh, thanks. Speaking of tea also.
You can drink tea now. It's okay.
Yeah. Nobody can tell me I can't.
Yeah. Hey.
And so in the defense, to me, I've always thought of the church there, just like every other church. In every religion, there are zealots and there are people who are still cool. They don't feel the need to force it down your throat. They know what you believe. You know what they believe, and you can still be friends and move on. And everybody can get along. And so there were still people that I knew, loved, and still loved and knew me. They knew where I stood. So like after I had my daughter, we had a woman who was in the church, one of the visiting teachers, they called her, in the Relief Society, is like the women's group. She brought me lovely stuff for my daughter, a big plate of fruit, because again, I was home as a single mom, and she knew that, I had to have a C-section, and she knew you had a lot of tummy problems afterwards because of all the medications. So she brought me a huge cut up fruit platter so I could just pick from that as I was like nursing or whatever. And, we have Gammy Pammy, very involved in the church. And she was just wonderful. She acted as a doula almost after I had my daughter. And so great people. But at the same time, it was never a thing where I felt the need to run back or be involved. And I had an aunt who was super involved, and she was never a kind person to me in many ways. She was very judgy, and very not a nice person, especially involving.
Was there any things that like you felt like you missed? I mean, was there like a fear of like a residual feeling of like, oh, now I'm gonna burn forever? Like, was there ever any sort of like,
because my beliefs changed before that?
Yeah.
But and also I was blessed to have an amazing grandfather who never made me feel judged for anything, despite his following of the church. He knew where all of his grandchildren stood. There was one long before this time, my cousin Rusty's, covered in tattoos from basically neck to toe. And, Grandpa would never judge him, never judge any of us. He didn't care. As long as his grandkids were happy and healthy, that was his concern.
That's what it should be.
Yeah, he was the most amazing. My daughter is named after him. And my parents also met at the Mormon church, and my dad wasn't involved really. So, I mean, my grandmother on the other side, my dad's mom, she never really, was super involved either. And so she didn't care. And so even most of my family members they're cool. If you want to go, you go. If you don't, you don't. So it was kind of like, it was just cool. And I think it became more of a problem after I left and got married, because somehow they keep finding me. And so I think they low-jacked me or something when I was baptized. I keep wondering if did I swallow some of that water? And there's like a little, like inner space with Dennis Quaid, somehow a little LoJack got in there or something. And I found out what happens though. Apparently my mother keeps giving them my address whenever I move.
Oh, that's actually pretty hateful. No, I'm just kidding.
I don't
I'm
know.
sure she
Do you
means
get,
well.
do you
I'm
get
sure she means
mail?
well.
Do you get phone calls?
No, they show up.
Oh.
And most
No, honey. We're Mormons. We're aggressive. We're not sending you a postcard. We're not calling. We're going to show up at your door and just knock.
and also are
Little
you
blue and white
now,
name tag, baby. Or black and white.
and are you now because of our color? And by the way, shout out to Azazel or whatever his name was, Azrael. Azazel is actually the
Azrael?
name of a demon. So I
Azrael.
take that back.
I was going to say, that's the angel of death, Josh.
Azrael.
He
Azrael.
wants to finish
Wait,
the
that's
action.
you guys, not him. You guys are the angels of death, remember?
That's true. Also,
Because of
I'm pretty sure that Azrael is one of the angels in the book of Enoch. Can't speak highly enough about the book of Enoch. But
I have the Living Bible, Josh, which has the Old Testament and New.
okay.
And
Okay,
it's not even in there.
that's fair. Now, according to Azrael, you are now a horrible person, I think. And he didn't say
Of
that.
course.
If you're
I
good,
mean,
it's
obviously.
only because of God and you just don't know it. Like, did you go
Right.
through any moments when you left that now you feel like you're worse off than you were before?
Other than occasionally getting to go to the big potlucks and not having help from the Relief Society. No. I miss, Josh, it's the funeral potatoes.
Oh yeah, that's fair. Dang it.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
Okay.
that is what they are. I don't care. Cheesy hash brown casserole. Ask any LDS person.
You talk about it has like the cornflakes on top.
Yes.
We need to.
And if you guys are really nice to me, one day I can do it. You
We'll
ask
hold you
Andy.
to it. In fact, what we need to do is for any folks that come on the live that are friendlies, we need to have a big potluck one day.
Ooh. And we can all bring our foods
Bring all the foods from all your former denominations,
from your religions.
and we have a
So I get to
cook
bring-
off.
I get to bring wafers.
Yeah. Oh.
Catholics.
No. Was there like, didn't you guys do the
Wine.
like after funeral stuff where you'd feed people? You know, you
Yeah.
like somebody.
In the
Yeah.
chat. In the
Was
chat,
there
I'm
a-
getting Midwest salads, and
A
I'm down for
salad
that.
that has like what?
Don't you know?
The 5 carrots.
Yes, it's like carrots and whipped cream and grapes. It's disgusting.
Oh,
I'm not making it.
Well, don't bring those because this is a cook-off. This is a
you can bring the
denominational
sliced
cook-off.
spiral ham.